All right, crime fighters, welcome back for another edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted, the program where you get to help make Calhoun County a better and safer place by helping us lock up some of the bad guys. I'm your host, Chris Wright, along with Calhoun County Sheriff Matthew Wade. Good to see you, Sheriff.
Hey, always good to be on the show. Say that every week, but it truly is an honor to get to talk to you.
Especially on weeks like this where we get to say thank you for so many tips that came in.
Man, oh man, we had 10 arrests this week. 10 arrests. Y'all were very busy, very dedicated, and once again, we could not do it without your help. We have to have your help, and you can see those 10 people are all in jail because somebody got involved, bringing our count up to 3,986.
Wow.
So my challenge to them next week is, let's make it an even 4,000. We need 14 people arrested by next week. I know it's a little big, but
I think we got 13 people on the list this week, so that might be a bit of a challenge.
You can do it. I'm an optimist. I believe they can do it. Let's make it happen. We need to find one more person and we'll put it on the website or something. Right. So 13, so 3,999.
We will have a show enough celebration if we hit that 4,000 next week.
Absolutely. Well, you know, they can go back on some old most wanteds and find somebody that's still wanted. So.
Yeah. I think I saw where you had some success with the rod and reel this week, didn't you?
You know, people, you might see me on my Facebook page or whatever. They say, man, you fish a lot. Well, I have kids that are active in basketball, baseball, softball, volleyball, and fishing. You know, fishing is actually a high school sport now. My son's on the high school fishing team. And last week we talked about boating safety. You know, he's been through the boater safety course. He's actually got his license at 12 years old. He has to ride with an adult in a boat, but he
can pilot.
He can pilot, and he does that all the time. But as there's a country song that talks about, you know, they think we're just fishing.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's fishing or if it's any of those sports or whatever else somebody's children or child might want to do. Nothing replaces personal involvement with your child. Ball games. You know, I was kind of grappling on the way down here. The school was having some ball games this week for my daughter during the day. And unfortunately, I have to work, but children know when you're not there. They know when you are there. They know about being involved in their life, caring about what they do. Children might not ever admit it, but they like having accountability in those boundaries, you know.
Yeah, we've got a 16-year-old in our house, and you know, if he's got a game coming up, no, y'all don't have to come. No, but if we're not there,
where were y'all at? He might not ever say it, but I can tell you this: there's been some children that I see, and somebody says, "Have you seen my mother or father?" They know when you're there, and I don't mean necessarily there at a ball game. They know when you're there in their life, and they know when you're not.
Absolutely. And this time of the year, it's summertime. The kids have got some time on their hands. They can be watching Netflix and playing on the video games, or they can be getting out and doing some things. They've got time here during this 2-month period of the summer. We need to find some time, carve out a little bit from our busy schedules, and help them have some memories out of those times.
You know, jobs come and go. If you quit your job or we used to die, they'll just post an ad and find somebody else to take your place. Everybody's replaceable, me on down. The sheriff's, I tell people all the time, from me on down, we can all be replaced. We have to do the best we can, but what's important in life is your family. And you only get one shot at raising your kids. Don't let that slip by with any regrets. You know, my mother and father, Jerry and Debbie, I know they watched the show now, so I want to talk about them a little bit. They always was involved in my life. They always made me feel, I always knew I was loved. And it wasn't because they gave me things, but they gave me them. And, you know, having parents that give you their time, their effort is a great thing.
Sometimes kids know they're loved, but they don't know they're valued. They need to be both.
That's right. Take time to be with your children. Spend time with them. Invest in them. You only get one shot.
And if that time is right now, just get up from the couch and go spend some time with your kids. If not, stick around. We'll be right back with the first half of this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
The Ford brand has always brought you impressive style and legendary quality, and Sonny King Ford brings you the lowest price and the largest inventory, new or pre-owned. The new 2015 F-150 gets the best gas mileage of any truck without giving up its powerful towing capacity. The iconic new 2015 Mustang, with its classic pony car looks and hunkered down stance, preserves a legacy that defines American motoring. For over 93 years, Sonny King Ford, for the best cars and best price.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved a
crackhead,
drug addict,
alcoholic, meth freak,
a wretch.
like me.
I once was
Homeless.
broken, sad,
Just lost.
but now I am sober.
happy.
I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
AOD Federal Credit Union. You already know their friendly staff and great loan products. So here's reason number 8 to choose AOD FCU, a new all-platinum Visa credit card. Call 1-800-637-0299 or visit AODFCU.com to start earning 1% cash back on purchases. Your good credit earns you a better rate. A new Platinum Visa card. Another reason you belong at AOD Federal Credit Union.
I have my own lawn care service. One day I had some blades that was bent. I was probably here for 5 minutes and they had me back on the road going.
It helps me make more money simply because it's a more dependable machine. And side-by-side comparisons, people want to say they're better, but I've driven them and Toro is the best.
Hey folks, come see us at Foothills Tractor. We're your one-stop shop for anything you need. Locally owned, locally operated, give you the best customer service guaranteed.
Hi, I'm Katina Houston Stroud with Family Links, and this is the Family Tip of the Week. Have you ever punished your child in the heat of the moment when you're angry and upset? If you're like most parents, the answer is probably yes. In fact, this is one of the biggest, most common parenting traps that you can fall into. But often when you do this, you're focused on winning the fight rather than working towards teaching your child to choose to do the right thing. While understandable, that mindset of winning over your child just isn't helpful. That's because when you get into that wrestling match, you're playing the wrong role. You become your child's peer rather than his parent. You already do have authority over him or her, so don't get engaged in a tug of war. It will only set up a power struggle. Remember, it's important to understand that overly harsh punishments do not create regret. They only serve to create resentment in your child. He or she will only be thinking about his anger towards you and believe that you're unreasonable and fair. For more effective ways to handle your child's behavior and increase your parenting skills, please call Family Links at 256-820-5911.
And welcome to this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. First up on our lineup this week, Jennifer Hurst. Miss Hurst, last known to be living in Anniston, she's wanted for failure to appear on possession of a controlled substance ×2 and use and possession of drug paraphernalia. And take a look at Jennifer Tillery. Miss Tillery, last known to be living in Anniston, she's wanted for failure to appear on use and possession of drug paraphernalia. We'd like you to meet John Morgan. Mr. Morgan, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for failure to appear on possession of marijuana second and use and possession of drug paraphernalia. And this is Sheila Spear. Miss Spear, last known to be living in Piedmont, she's wanted for failure to pay on unemployment compensation violation. And meet Charvez Bolton. Mr. Bolton, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for failure to pay on robbery first. And last up for the first half of our lineup, Braxton Martin. Mr. Martin, last known to be living in Jacksonville, he's wanted for failure to appear on resisting arrest and possession of alcohol by a minor. And that's it for the first half of our lineup. Stay tuned for the second half later in the show.
All right, we'll have the second half of the lineup coming up here in just a few moments, but right now we're going to go to seminary. We got Dennis Bradford and Bob St. John joining us here with the, what's the name of the seminary?
It is Birmingham Theological Seminary, and as that name indicates, our main campus is in Birmingham, Alabama, but we have extension campuses throughout the state, and the newest one is, of course, here in Calhoun County.
A couple of years been here?
Yes, 2 years now, so we have a total of 4 semesters under our belt.
Mm-hmm. Now, forgive me, but I just went on my computer a few minutes ago.
Yes.
I can get ordained for $29.99. I can go to any hotel in the country and steal me a Bible for nothing.
Yes.
So why do I need to go to? Obviously, I need to learn something, don't I?
We can help you.
While you're teaching him, we can do it through the jail ministry, because it sounds like he said that he
good.
just admitted to stealing.
So yes, we're both employed here.
But I do have a legitimate question here.
Yes.
Okay. Most of us grow up in church. We've read much, if not all, of the Bible. We've heard the stories and such. What's going to happen at seminary that we haven't already learned reading and sitting in the pews and in Sunday school class?
Okay. Well, I'll touch on a little bit and let you share as well. One thing that I would say is that we begin to learn in depth. And what I mean by that is that there is a context that that passage was written, that that book was written in, a language other than English. And that may surprise a lot of people. Scripture was not written in English. And we, at a seminary, began to delve into that, to understand what the words were that were translated into English, and what the context was where that original passage was written, and how we can understand it in our context.
Our goal is not to create academics. Our goal is to create servants of the Lord for His church.
Yes.
And of course, you know, there are many people who read the Bible, and there are many people, even more, that hear, you know, listen to the Bible read or preached, you know. There are a much smaller number who actually may memorize some scriptures, and then an even smaller number of those that actually study the Bible. You know, they actually study a passage, study a book, study a text in its context, and so forth. And we are teaching people how to study the Bible. We're equipping them with the tools that they need to be an effective student of Scripture, so that they are able to impart God's truth for His glory and to encourage others.
It's not like reading a James Patterson novel when you finish the book and you know who done it and how they done it and it's all over, right? Going back and reading that book, you might enjoy it a second time, but you're really probably not going to pick up a whole lot. But Matthew, when you're studying the Word, it's a completely different situation.
You know, in our church, every year encourages us to read through the Bible. They give out a guide, and it's about 3 chapters a day, I guess. And even on that, you know, I've read the Bible from front to back, but a lot of times you pick up, you know, you can, every time you pick it up, you can see something, even read the same verse and hear somebody talk about it, you pick up something you never thought of before. And it's just a wonderful thing to read and to get into.
And it all relates to the Word of God, but it's not all just about the Word. It's about teaching people to interact with other people in that role, isn't it?
Absolutely. You know, we are members of Calhoun County, as well as the adjunct and professors that teach at the Calhoun County Extension. And, you know, we as a community, whether it's elected officials, public officials, leaders of the community, we're trying to grow our community and then invite others in. And at Birmingham Theological Seminary, we can partner in that capacity, teaching and preparing leaders who first lead in their church but impact the greater community.
I heard a thing the other day, said the gospel's only the gospel if somebody goes and tells it. It's not the gospel unless somebody tells somebody else about it. So I think that's a large part of seminary, is preparing someone not only what the gospel is, but how to present the gospel and how to defend the gospel.
Absolutely.
So, you know, in the seminary, you know, I've not been to seminary, but I would love to do that. You know, that's something.
I think we have a candidate.
I would think that a large part of the benefit of going to seminary and truly getting into that studying would be the confidence that comes from it as well, because, you know, we've read the words, we've talked about it before, but until you really dig down, you're going to question yourself. And you're always going to question yourself to some degree, but when you've gone through and you've certified and you've really studied and you've earned the grade, you're going to have that confidence to be able to say, look, this is what it means.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a preparation there that enables a person to give a clear answer from the Scriptures and for the Scriptures that you know, can impact other people. Otherwise, many times if a question is raised about spiritual things, the answers that come forth are mostly out of people's feelings and people's ignorance, instead of thus saith the Lord. And so, you know, we're looking to train people to be able to explain and teach Scripture.
Yeah, there's a lot of quotes from the Bible that aren't in the Bible, aren't there?
True, I've heard a lot.
Right. We need to take a quick break, but we've got plenty to talk about. We will be back to do that, and we'll have the second half of this week's lineup when we return on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
AOD Federal Credit Union. You already know their friendly staff and great loan products. So here's reason number 8 to choose AOD FCU, a new all-platinum Visa credit card. Call 1-800-637-0299 or visit AODFCU.com to start earning 1% cash back on purchases. Your good credit earns you a better rate. A new Platinum Visa card. Another reason you belong at AOD Federal Credit Union.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved.
A crackhead, drug addict,
Alcoholic, meth freak,
a wretch like me.
I once was.
Homeless,
Broken. Sad.
just lost.
but now I am sober.
Happy.
I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
The Ford brand has always brought you impressive style and legendary quality, and Sonny King Ford brings you the lowest price and the largest inventory, new or pre-owned. The new 2015 F-150 gets the best gas mileage of any truck without giving up its powerful towing capacity. The iconic new 2015 Mustang, with its classic pony car looks and hunkered down stance, preserves a legacy that defines American motoring. For over 93 years, Sonny King Ford, for the best cars and best price.
I have my own lawn care service. One day I had some blaze that was bent. I was probably here for 5 minutes and they had me back on the road going.
It helps me make more money simply because it's a more dependable machine. And side-by-side comparisons, people want to say they're better, but I've driven them and Toro is the best.
Hey folks, come see us at Foothills Tractor. We're your one-stop shop for anything you need. Locally owned, locally operated, give you the best customer service guaranteed.
And welcome to the second half of our lineup. First up this half, Jamie Simmons. Mr. Simmons, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for failure to appear on possession of a controlled substance and use and possession of drug paraphernalia. And meets Stephen Crane. Mr. Crane, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for failure to appear on domestic violence third. And we'd like you to take a look at Rashawn Wells. Miss Wells, last known to be living in Anniston, wanted for probation violation on burglary third times. Burglary third. And this is Thaddeus Smith. Mr. Smith, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for failure to pay on theft of property third. And we'd like you to meet Amber McDaniel. Miss McDaniel, last known to be living in Oxford, she's wanted for failure to appear on possession of a controlled substance, possession of marijuana second, probation violation on possession of controlled substance. And this is Bo Geider. Mr. Geider, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for probation violation for receiving stolen property and theft of property third. And last up in our lineup this week, Adrian Miller. Miss Miller, last known to be living in Anniston, she's wanted for non-payment of child support, the face of a deadbeat mom. And that's it for our lineup this week. If you have any information on the whereabouts of these folks, please give us a call at Crime Stoppers 256-238-1414.
I'll have the Crime Stoppers segment of the show coming up in a few minutes, our crazy criminal as well. But right now we're talking with Dennis and Bob from the Birmingham Theological Seminary, the Calhoun County Extension. So that's right here in Calhoun County. And that makes it accessible, because I know there's a lot of people that go off to Duke and other places for seminary, and that's great. It's also great to have something here that other people who can't do that are able to do, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, and that sort of points to the genesis of Birmingham Theological Seminary. About 45 years ago, the seminary was started in the city of Birmingham for the purpose of serving local communities, bivocational pastors, individuals who would love to move away and attend seminary but just cannot for a variety of reasons, and then members of the local community who simply want to learn more about the Bible. And so it's here, it's available, it's affordable. 20% of the national average is what we charge for tuition here.
Wow.
Okay. So 20 cents out of every dollar.
Yes.
So what kind of degrees can you get from the Birmingham Theological Seminary? What different avenues do you have? I know there's, a layperson like me, you got preaching, you got music, what all do you have? When I sing,
yes,
I got in the choir. I'll tell this real quick. I got in the choir, and they said, "You want to sing in the choir?" I'm sure. So I'm singing in the choir, and I hear the music minister kept going, He had that look on his face, and so he was trying to pinpoint it. I knew what it was. I do it, but it's rough. I do the best I can. A joyful noise.
Did he give you Barney's special microphone?
He let me sing solo that nobody can hear it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So
very good.
So what are the opportunities?
Okay, here locally in Calhoun County, what we offer is a Master of Arts in Biblical Studies. That is a 40-hour program. All of our classes are 2 hours each. And so, and each class, all of our classes are 2 hours each. And so it takes 20 classes to complete a Master of Arts. But not everyone who's in leadership or desiring to be in leadership of a church has an undergraduate degree. And so we also offer a certificate program. With that, 30 hours and 15 classes each.
Yeah, just pause just to make sure everybody understands. We're talking about credit hours, not actually. You're going to spend more
Credit
than 30 hours.
Yes.
2 hours, semester hours, it means 2 hours a week, I'm
Yes.
imagining, for the semester.
Yes.
All right.
And so we offer a wide variety of courses. For instance, I teach mostly historical theology. And so, we're engaged in looking at how God, through the centuries, has preserved and protected the faith of His church through the ages. And so it's very interesting to see, especially when we're celebrating this year our 500th anniversary of the Protestant Reformation. 500 years, since Martin Luther nailed the 95 Theses to the church door at Wittenberg. And so understanding where churches have come from, where did our church come from? Where did we get the truth that we believe? And there's a history to that should go back all the way to Christ and the apostles.
And you got to know where you came from if you're going to try to figure out where you're going. And right now, a lot of churches and denominations are trying to figure out where they're going, aren't they?
Yes, and there's also a distinct disdain for the past. We want to break from the past and everything new, but we really do need to build on the foundation of the faith that was once for all delivered to the saints.
Yeah, and on a light note, I want to preface this by saying my daughter and I, we have a great relationship, but sometimes teenagers, they reach a point to where they know more than their parents. And we have to be careful that
we have
as
16-year-olds. We understand. It's been rough at my house the last couple of weeks. I got a 16-year-old, so we understand that.
Yes, and just as a society, as church leaders, we can get to a point to where, we know better than everyone who came before us. Well, really? Do you? Do we? And our argument is no, we really don't. We need to learn.
We
from
know
them.
some different things that they didn't
Precisely.
know, but do we have the benefit of their perspective? If you can go back and get their perspective and apply it to the new knowledge that we have today, apply it correctly, then we can go places we've never been before. But you got to have both.
Exactly.
All right. So we've only got a minute left. Somebody that's sitting out there right now saying, "I've heard the call. I haven't answered it yet." How do they proceed if they want to talk to you guys?
Okay, they can Google Birmingham Theological Seminary. They can email us at bts.education. Yes. Or they can call me. My cell number is area code 202-821-7409. So either way, they can contact us and ask more questions. There are individuals at Birmingham, but of course we're here locally in Anniston.
And wide open for anybody that believes that this is what they're called to do?
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a student interview, an application process, and all of those things, but we are looking for students.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, Dennis, Bob, thank you for taking time to be with us here today, and good luck, and keep sending some good people out into the world prepared.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your inviting us on.
Yes, sir.
We will be right back in just a few moments. We'll have the Crime Stoppers segment of the show and the crazy criminal of the week on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
AOD Federal Credit Union. You already know their friendly staff and great loan products. So here's reason number 8 to choose AOD FCU, a new all-platinum Visa credit card. Call 1-800-637-0299 or visit AODFCU.com to start earning 1% cash back on purchases. Your good credit earns you a better rate. A new Platinum Visa card. Another reason you belong at AOD Federal Credit Union.
The Ford brand has always brought you impressive style and legendary quality, and Sonny King Ford brings you the lowest price and the largest inventory, new or pre-owned. The new 2015 F-150 gets the best gas mileage of any truck without giving up its powerful towing capacity. The iconic new 2015 Mustang, with its classic pony car looks and hunkered down stance, preserves a legacy that defines American motoring. For over 93 years, Sonny King Ford, for the best cars and best price.
I have my own lawn care service. One day I had some blaze that was bent. I was probably here for 5 minutes and they had me back on the road going.
It helps me make more money simply because it's a more dependable machine. And side-by-side comparisons, people want to say they're better, but I've driven them and Toro is the best.
Hey folks, come see us at Foothills Tractor. We're your one-stop shop for anything you need. Locally owned, locally operated, give you the best customer service guaranteed.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved
A crackhead, drug addict,
Alcoholic, meth freak,
a wretch like me.
I once was.
Homeless,
Broken. Sad.
just lost.
but now I am sober.
Happy.
I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
And welcome to the Crime Stoppers portion of our show, where we ask your help with our investigators on these cases. First up, on June 5th, 2 pit bulls were stolen from a residence on Chakalaka Drive in Anniston. One was a brown and black male, the other was a white and brown female. Please help us find those 2 doggies. And sometime between May 31st and June 7th, a barn was burglarized on Webster's Chapel Road in Wellington. The barn door and antique farm equipment were stolen from that location. And that's it for your caseload this week. If you have any information on these cases, and we hope you do, please give us a call at Crime Stoppers. That number, 256-238-1414.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Our crazy criminal of the week is a lady who is just minding her own business and trying to take care of business. She goes into McDonald's and orders some chicken McNuggets, and it took them forever. She called 911, and of course they responded, because 911 responds.
Yeah, you call them, they call, somebody's coming.
She didn't necessarily like the response that she
got. She called and they probably hauled. Misuse of the 911 system, I'm imagining.
She did not get arrested, but she could have, couldn't she?
She could have. Misuse of the 911 system is a crime, and believe it or not, people will do it sometimes, but it's meant for emergencies. It's meant when you have something happening just because your food's not there quick enough.
That's not going to qualify, but the last thing we want to do is scare anybody into thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't call 911. If you've got an actual emergency, call.
We want you to go. We hear that so many times where people say, well, I thought about calling, but I didn't. If you say to yourself, maybe I should call. If we come and it's not an emergency, it's not a crime, no harm, no foul, you're paying us to be there 24 hours a day. We want to protect you and serve you, so call us if you have a problem. Mm-hmm. Now, if your chicken nuggets are just, but we all know that's you can call us. We'll come, I promise.
All right, so that's all the time that we've got for the show this week. We've got to go out and answer some calls, or he does anyway. But we do appreciate your time and the information that you share with us. We'll be looking for you again next week, but hopefully not in the lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
You're watching WEAC TV 24, Oxford, Anniston, Gadsden.